for that matter. Now let's move on. What we are going to do next is to write or insert some mathematical notations. And so I'll just create a new, and I'll first save it. I'll save it. So I think here I'll just create a new, let's just say maths notation, just another folder, and I'll just put it in there just to be organized. Let's say maths, I'll give it this name. All right. So here, even though this is there because this was the previous one, we'll remove it. By the way, we can just close it and then we'll continue. So now we are going to look at how to insert mathematical notations in a LaTeX document, Okay, so again, we'll do /document class 10pt. I'll indicate article. Then I'll say /begin document /end documents, and then inside I'll put in my mathematical notations. Take note that I made mention that this symbol, that is shift and 5, this symbol is a comment line. Okay, and so this is going to be ignored when you compile. All right, so for the various descriptions, I'll make sure I put this there to let you know that the subsequent line, that is what it means. All right, so just take note of that. Okay, now let's start with the math notations. I'll just do something here. I'll say math notations. Here I'm going to show you a few, and then there are tons of tutorials online that you can use to help you also input more mathematical notation. So here I'm giving you an intro. So when you go online, just search for them and then you find lots of them. You can also contact me if you want some special tutorials on LaTeX. All right. So here I will start with mathematical symbols, or let me just use math symbols for short. So for symbol, there are several of them. I will just try with a few of them. So let's try with one popular one, which is the theta. All right, theta, for those who don't know theta, let's just search for it online. Let's say theta. Here's the theta symbol. These are math symbols, one of the math symbols that we use. Okay, we are going to input that in LaTeX. Now with LaTeX, for math symbols like this, let's just go back. What I will say is to first tell LaTeX that I want to be in math mode. In fact, that's what we should have been talking about first. So I'll just clear this first. Now I'll come back to this. Now with the math notations, if you want to use math notations, then that particular line, you should start with a $sign and end with a $sign. Then in between, you put in your math notations. All right, so the notation here, it could be symbol, it could be an expression, it could be an equation, but they should be in the dollar symbols in between. In some systems, on some systems, it will have to be double like this, and then in between you put. So I know for if you are writing LaTeX, if you are writing with LaTeX on Google Docs, you need to put a $2 sign, a double $sign before and then after. So in between these, you put in your math notation. On my system, I can do with just one. That is why I'm putting one of them there. So this is the rule when you are typesetting and inserting mathematical notations. All right. Now let's get back to the first one, which is the math symbol. I'll clear this and then we will start. So it's now we are still in math, so that means $sign start dollar sign end. All right, so take note of that. Now we are on theta. So if you want to input theta first, math mode, so your dollar sign, and then in between, I'll say slash theta. So sometimes text view will also try to predict and let you know what it is. Okay. Now that's what you have. Because it's a new document, we need to first build first and view. So I'll just go to tools, build and view. And then once I do that, you have it here. So from hence, once you've done the build and view, you can always click on compile if you make any change. So this is theta. Now I'll use my lens to enlarge it, to magnify it. And so this is the theta. All right, that's it. Now let's also try with pi. So dollar, you can also start with a dollar and just say slash pi and bring your dollar. That also works. So you don't have to type the $2 first and then type your math notation in between. You can type the notation and end with a dollar. That also works. Now I have slash pi. So let's go to this compile. And let's see what comes. So you can see it has also been indicated here. All right. Here I'll just enlarge it a bit. I'll zoom it a bit. Then we see it's here. Let's see. Yeah, good. So I see it. So theta and then pi. Now you see that this pi here is in another line. And so ideally what should happen is this pi should go to another line. So to do that, I'll show you a couple of things. Let's start with the blank line. Let's compile and let's see. Good. So that one works. Or sometimes you can just use slash here. That will also work. All right. So just take note of that. So this is for pi. All right. So there are several math symbols. And so these are just a few of them that I showed. And so basically, when you search online, LaTeX, there are documents that shows what to write, the codes to write if you want to insert a particular math symbol. All right. I think I have some links which I'll share with you. The links will all be in the description box. Okay. So this is for math symbols. Now let's move on to math expressions. So I'll just do this. I'll say math expressions. So here I'll also give a few examples. All right. Now let's just say 2x. So math mode dollar 2x dollar. There's an expression. Okay, so you see 2x here. Okay, nicely done. Let's say 10a. You have it here. Okay, now here I'll just bring my new line here. All right. You can also put several on one line, which we'll look at when we start the math tutorial in detail. That will also be another video, by the way. All right. So that's what we have. Now let's do this. We can also do this. Dollar, let's say 2x plus 10a dollar. Let's run it, and that will also give us something else. We have that also here. All right. Now with the math expressions, there are tons. Now let's look at a few. Let's just say you want to do this. Let's just say that you want to just do, let's say, a log. Or yeah, let's say log. Now with logs, here's what happens. Logarithm. You bring your dollar. Let's bring our dollar first. And then what do? You indicate your log. And then the base you indicate with underscore. So let's say log base 2. And then you now bring your x. This is how we do it. Let me just add it. So it's supposed to be slash. All right. So slash log. Yeah. And we have it something like this. So slash log and then underscore, and then you bring your here. So here it's a log function. So underscore 2, that's the base, and then you have your other number here. So let's compile this, and now you see what we have here, log 2x. Right. Now, if there was no base, then you just have to just do this. I'll just say $/log x dollar. Let's run this. Okay, so that is if there was no base. But if you have a base, then this is the format to use. Now, with logarithm tool, it could be in several formats. All right, so this is just an intro. We will look at logarithm in detail. And there are also tutorials that focus on just typesetting with logs. Okay, so these are things you can check online and then learn how to do. This is just the basics, the beginner level. All right, now let's proceed. Let's also look at square roots. That's something we can also look at here. We are done with logs. Let's also look at square roots, which is something you also do a lot. So with square root 2, let's say square root of 2. So again, math mode, and we say slash sqrt, and then you see the format here. So this is the arguments. So here you put root, put arguments. For this tutorial, just using the simple one, I'll just show you. So curly bracket, let's say $4. I'll run it. So you see what I have here. Okay, that's for square roots. All right. Now, if let's say it's not square roots and it's, let's say, fourth roots, something like that, or cube roots, then you can just say slash sqrt. Okay, let's just say this. Let's just say cube root of 9. Then in that case, what we bring in here is this. We bring the q first, then we bring our arguments, which is, let's say, 9. We bring $. Let's run this. Oh, let me just correct it here first. So this is supposed to be, this one is supposed to be square brackets. Let me just correct it. It's supposed to be a square bracket, and that's where you get it. So let's rerun it. Good. So this is what we have. So if it's just the normal square roots, you just put your arguments in your curly brackets. But if it's cube root, fourth root, whatever, then just put them here. All right. So that's, so here, if you don't bring the square brackets, then that means it's not going to be indicated. So that one represents square root, but if it's for other roots like cube roots, then those ones you need to specify them in a square bracket, and then the argument itself will also come here. So that's for square roots. Again, there are several variations depending on what you want to do. And so that's just the basics. You can just continue with those ones. Okay. Now there's something else we also need to look at, and that is fractions. Okay, fractions. So with fractions, I can just say $, $in, and then fractions become slash frac. And you see the format says numerator and denominator. And so a first curly bracket for numerator. So let's say 2/3. So 2, and then another curly bracket 3. Let's just close it. So let's run it. Good. So now you see you have 2/3. All right. Now you also notice that here there are no spaces. Even though here there are blank lines in between the expressions, there are no spaces. So if you want to force some additional spaces, you can just bring your slash here. Let's try this. I'll just bring it here rather. Let's do this rather. I'll just bring my slash here. I'll bring another one here. Let's try with this one first. Let's see. Good. And I'll bring another one here. So you see that there's a change. Yeah, so you can see there's a change. So you can just use that to add extra lines. All right. So now I'll just undo them and then we proceed. I'll zoom out a bit. Yeah, so this is for fractions. All right, so it's very simple. You can try it, and let's just try another $1. Let's try this $/frac. Let's say 5/2. Let's try this. All right, so good. Now you see what is happening here. Here they are just very close. So here we can add our new line. We bring our slash to separate them. Okay, we can do same for this one also. All right, okay, good. So that's what we have. Okay, so that's for fractions. Now let's try something else. There are other math expressions you can add, and then it's important we also look at something else, and that is equations. Now with equations, that's what happens. With equations, LaTeX keeps track of all the equations and gives them numbers. And so let's try. So if you want to enter an equation, you first type /begin equation. There are other approaches, by the way, but I prefer to use this one, /begin equation, and then /end equation. Then I'll put my equation into it. All right, that's what I'm going to do. So here, let me just bring in a comment here. I'll just say equations. Here it was, we had math expressions, we had math symbols, have math equations. Okay, so for equations, what you do is, let me just do it here properly. What you do is to type /begin equation, /end equation, then in between them you put in your equation. All right, so here let's just say $a equals, let's say A plus B equals $10. So let's run it. Let's compile. Let's see this first. Okay, no, so here we are not supposed to add this. I almost forgot. So with equations, it is different from math mode, so we don't have to bring this. I think I have to do this rather. Yeah. Okay. So we are not bringing the $. So that's how it's supposed to be for equations. So let's run this. Let me just do it properly here. So I'll just do this. Let's see. Good. So now that I've closed the spaces here, you have our equation. Now if you scroll to the right side, you have the equation, and you also have the number here. Okay, so this is for equation. So if let's say you wanted to add another equation, let's see, I'll copy the same thing here. I'll just say 2a plus 5 is equals to 25, or let's say 20. And I run it. You have the other equation, and then it says equation 2. So it keeps track of your equations, and then it numbers them for you. Now you notice that the equation is at the center. It's possible to format it and bring it to the left-hand side. There is something that you talk about in another tutorial. So you can format and align your equations. This is something that you can do later on. All right, so this is for equations. All right, so this is just the basics for equations.